If you're going no contact with a parent, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. Prepare for
Oh,
all
and
of
by the way, they're telling kids to go no contact. That's what I don't like. You have creators telling kids not to talk to their parents. It's one thing for them to come to that conclusion. It's another thing when they're influenced by some goofy.
messages that you're gonna get. Not only from the parent that you're trying to go no contact with, but everybody that knows them. They will talk about it most likely, and people will reach out to you and try to guilt trip you into having a relationship with them again. They will reach out to you and guilt trip you into having a relationship with them again, and you're gonna say, hell no. You're gonna block them, and you're going to block any new accounts that they create. You're going to screenshot everything. Anytime they
Yeah, but we gotta know why you're blocking them. What's the reason? What's going on? You can't just tell people, freaking, freaking girl from the '90s looking ass, to block your parents. Coming from someone who blocks their parents, right? Because sometimes you're just angry. Okay, you're angry that they don't listen to you. You're angry that they don't that they take you for granted, and because of that, you feel this type of resentment. But at the end of the day, it's very dangerous to tell Gen Z kids to just do it without explaining when you should and when you shouldn't.
send you a text from a new account or from a new number, screenshot it. Anytime someone else messages you on their behalf, screenshot it. And tell those people
Oh my God, Father Alex is stating like he's gay. Shut up.
not to do that again. All of this you're documenting in case you need to accelerate it to police. They will harass you. They will say really hurtful things and then go back to really loving things and then really hurtful things.
No, that's not true. Again, I get what she means. She's talking about the most toxic, but that's not everyone though. That's not everyone.
If your parent is a covert narcissist and not many people know how they are, it's gonna look like you're the asshole. They're gonna go on Facebook and they're gonna run their mouth about how you're abandoning them and you're
Yeah,
awful
that's
and they
true.
did all of these
Yep.
bare minimums for you. Roof over your head,
Yep.
clothes on your back, food on your plate. You're gonna hear that a lot. But what they're gonna leave out
Yep.
and what people on Facebook won't notice because they didn't
Yep.
give their kids it either is that she never was there for you emotionally. She's pointing out all of these
Yep.
physical support needs that she barely met because she had you legally, but leave
Well, but that you see, that's where we have to. Again, I, I'm someone who I understand where she's coming from. Right? I stopped talking to my mom multiple times. Multiple times. Where I was wrong was that my mom was always there for me, right? She had she still has anger issues, right? She never apologizes with her words. She's always in conflict with people, but you have to understand is that she doesn't steal from me. Like she treats me really nice when she's there. She just has most likely her own issues. She's great to people. Like as long as like I don't know how to explain it. Like, I don't think they'll understand what I'm saying. Is that a lot of the times your parents just don't know how to communicate. It's hard to say that when your parents are hurting you. It really is hard to say that. But the way for example, with my mom, I just wanted her to apologize. Right? I don't mind that you make mistakes. I just want you to apologize. I remember my sister telling me, she was like, "No, Alexis, like she does apologize. She just apologizes in her own way. You may not like the way she apologizes, but she apologizes." And I'm like, she was like, "No, but you're trying to change her. She this is not how she apologizes. She apologizes through cooking you dinner, through speaking, not say I'm sorry, but she'll cook something really nice and she'll bring it to you in a very soft way. And it's like you have to understand that some people don't, because of trauma, they don't have the capacity to express I'm sorry outside of those ranges. It's like getting mad at someone with a broken shoulder because they can't put a hand up. And that to me, I was like, yo, some wise shit my sister said, you know? Like that is some real wisdom that she spit out. And I'm like, that is so true because I want her to mature, right? I want her to see the world from a more mature perspective. And what she said was that no, Alexis, you're wanting her to change. She's older. She's much older. You understand that she has issues. She doesn't. You're on the outside. She's on the inside. She can't see outside of herself. You can. That's where compassion goes in. Because I'm right in not talking to her, but I'm also wrong in not talking to her. Because the one who's gonna die first is not her. It's gonna be me, and I'm gonna be left with that regret. Get what I'm saying? Like being left with that regret, fuck that. I'd rather talk to you. I'd rather try to make it work out because the regret of that, as even though I'm right, ain't worth it. Fuck that. I don't want to see no old dudes for the rest of my life in therapy. Let's keep going.
See, emotionally was unavailable your entire childhood. You're gonna see comments of people talking about how ungrateful you are. Ignore them. Who cares? You know the truth. That's all that matters here.
But you gotta understand, man. When you get older, yeah, you're hearing this, but I swear to God, when you get older, you're gonna regret it. That's the problem. Look, man, if I knew I wasn't gonna regret it, fine. But I know how the human brain works. You're gonna regret that like you were like it's gonna feel like you did the worst thing on the planet, man. I'm sorry, man. You gotta have your conscious knows when you're not even trying, and if you are not trying when they die, which it will happen, and I know you don't like to hear that because sometimes they use it as manipulation. I know you're gonna regret it. Trust me, man. I'm coming from the most stubborn person. I'm stubborn as hell.
You know the truth. You're gonna look kind of crazy like some awful kid, but you're not. Do not engage with those messages that they send you. It'll just make them send more. Make sure you have a lot of other friends or family that can be your support system. Good luck.
Parents who struggle with
Good luck.
estrangement or believe that they've been alienated don't see their own negative parenting patterns. And that's the number one reason why kids stay away. When parents minimize their adult children's feelings, they fail that parent lesson. Well, what does that look like? When a parent complains or discounts their adult child's feelings, it's usually from a place of underlining feeling of unworthiness. The truth is, millennials and Zs are figuring out early what negative patterns and behaviors are, and they're choosing to break those patterns and beliefs, and that's a great thing. Gen X mom here, great relationship.
Yeah, but okay, but again, the thing that they're not bringing up, and I just notice a lot of these left wings people never bring up, it's just the mental turmoil these decisions have on your mind. If you look, I understand there's some parents like me. I'm lucky. My mom, she like her biggest problem was just having anger issues and never accepting responsibility for her mistakes. It sounds like a lot, right? But at the same time, that's my interpretation because she did, but she just does it in her own way. You got to be multiverse in different love languages. You know, the advice that she's giving got people is to not talk to them. And again, there's nothing when it's justified. I agree. But more often than not, the people listening to them are just looking for an excuse. And that's when kids start isolating themselves. They a lot of them become drug addicted when a lot of kids will turn to drugs when they stop talking to their parents. That's just how that is. They'll turn to drugs when they stop talking to their parents. If you don't believe that, go just look around, look at the people who have extreme drug addictions. A lot of the times they don't talk to their parents. This connection from their family really creates an emptiness in their heart that causes them to join cults, gangs, drug addictions, and political movements.
My 29-year-old son.
Did she give away her dog? Yeah, she did, man. But it's like, look, man, look, me, I have every right to be mad at my mom. She gave away my dog, but it's just that you know what I'm saying? Like I'm right to be mad, but at the same time, okay. I'm gonna lose this fight because it's not hard to ignore her silly shit. It's not hard, right? Like, like like you know, I used to get mad that she just told me, "Oh, where's your girlfriend?" And I'm like, "Mom, stop fucking asking me that." Like, obviously, like most people, if you tell them to stop, you would stop talking to them because they keep repeating themselves. But with your parents, you could just say, okay, that's my mom being my mom. As long as there's little things like that. Now, if she just gets up and smacks me or steals money from me, or you get what I'm saying? There's difference. And I feel when we feel like we're getting attacked, we exaggerate we exaggerate the negative and the positive, you know? People are like really back my past in the comment
I
section.
think that we should be supporting our younger generations
I don't
and
like this
not
lady.
do what our parents did to us, which was not support us. For more information about the Stephood Project, link in bio.
I think the craziest thing is that I didn't lose my father to illness or an accident. I lost him to red pill, to conspiracy theories and the algorithm. I guess it started slowly, like Facebook memes or complaints about pronouns or how you just
No,
can't
there's nothing wrong with your dad not being fully on board with your belief systems, right? It just sounds like they want like complete compliance. It's like, no, you creepy daughter, Jen LaForge.
say anything anymore. But very quickly it escalated, and suddenly every single conversation was about how the government is lying, the media's brainwashing us, or how gender neutral bathrooms are the downfall of society. The thing is, this pipeline doesn't start with extremism. It starts with podcasts that sound intellectual.
But that's the point. You see, that's what I'm saying. We got to be more tolerant of each other. Like me, I had to be more tolerant of my mom always asking me when I should get married, right? Obviously, it's rude to ask that when somebody says, please stop it. But at the same time, there's two sides. You could just understand that parents will be parents, and that's part of it. And just say, oh, never, mom, never. Like you got like learning how to deal with them. Like that's what I'm saying. But we as a society, even I fall for that. We want them to change. We want them to completely shut the fuck up. We want them to act exactly how we want them to. We complain about them wanting to control us, and here we are doing the same thing. That's just how it is, man.
Or YouTube videos that frame themselves as common sense. These men get fed content that flatters their frustrations, that tell them that somehow
And like, you're not a feminist. Come on, cutie.
they're victims of feminism, immigration, queerness, progress.
Queerness, that's called being gay.
It works because the algorithm is designed to reward outrage. The more you engage,
You?
the more extreme it gets. I watched my dad go from someone who used to make me laugh to someone who thought I was a part of the agenda. Suddenly, I wasn't his daughter anymore. I was the problem. I was the liberal, brainwashed one. Every single conversation
Yeah, sometimes if their parents see that's where I just think that there's two sides to every story, and both are wrong and both are right more often than not. That's what I think. Like, and again, that comes from somebody who, I mean, if you guys watch my videos, you guys know I was pissed off yesterday with my mom, right? But at the same time, you also, when you hear other people's point of view, like I talked to my sister, like, nah, like, you're right, but you're you're gonna regret it. Like they're not here for too long. If they were here forever, sure, you could wait a year or two. It's like, no, dude, like even if it means keeping them at a distance, it's totally fine. Keep them at a distance. But don't completely stop talking to them. There's something that happens to you psychologically. Like me, I when I stopped talking to my mom, I developed addictions. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I did. Like it's just because you're so mad and frustrated that then that frustration and anger kind of unconsciously like guide your choices. It is what it is, man.
turned into an argument. And I think the hardest part was that I had to realize that I couldn't compete with a 24/7 algorithm designed to keep him angry. I can't fight a system that profits off of convincing men that they're victims. I tried for years. I tried to debate, to educate, to reach him. Sometimes love
You
is
see what I'm saying? You don't try to change people, man. Find a way to ignore, to entertain. It's part of growth. Like you develop the capacity to be able to understand people and know how to deal with them. It's a skill that's really useful in life. Don't just see this as your parents being dicks. See this as okay, you know what? They're really difficult. What can I do to sort of like blend into this situation, right? Because when older people can't help, like they can't help themselves. Like ask any nursing student, anyone who works with older people, they'll tell you like you got to learn to not take certain things seriously.
enough to bring someone back from that rabbit hole. So eventually I had to pick peace over blood. I walked away, not out of hate, but
Hmm.
because I chose peace.
Yeah, but you walked away because of his politics. It's okay to text him, call him every now and then, right? I swear to God, I sound like my parents. I sound like my mom. But it's not like I'm talking like it's not like I'm saying something that I don't apply. You know what I'm saying? Like this is something that I do, that I did, that I'm genuinely like trying to do in my life. So it's not like I'm talking bullshit. By the way, people, if you guys want to ask questions just join the Zoom link on the description down below, and there you'll be able to ask questions to me right now. I'm not gonna do this for too long, so once this video is done, please call up.
When was the moment
Yeah,
you realized that you needed to limit contact with your emotionally
that's
immature or
better.
abusive parents? Make a lot
That's
of
much
content
better. Limit contact is the key word.
about the impact of emotionally immature parents, about the impact on children, and then when they grow up to be adults, like how that impact stays with them. One of the things that I have learned as a therapist in the mental health field for the last 20 years, and also by the comments on this content, is that there are usually instances that people can point to that is maybe a singular incident, but really it is an accumulation of many thousands of interactions of emotional immaturity, instability, lack of accountability, or frankly, just abusive.
You know, my sister said, Delexis, you act like she was raised during this era. And I'm like, holy fuck, that makes a lot of sense. Because kids act like their parents are open to therapy. And it's like, no, like they were raised in a time when therapy was for the crazy people. You can't expect your parents to all of a sudden go back on that. And like, you can't tell your parents, go get therapy. They come from a different generation. And that's something that I have to understand. Change is not easy. I find change easy, but that's not how everyone sees it. And it's completely unfair to want them to do something that their generation never would even consider doing. We're coming about this from a very generational centric point of view.
Neglectful behavior that they will point to as being sort of, the basis for why they limited contact or went no contact. Being estranged or limiting contact with family members is not a new thing. It's something that maybe we're talking about more because we have platforms like social media to like express what that phenomenon is. But if you think about it, I think almost every family has somebody that they know of who moved away or only came around during holidays or maybe only called once in a while, but really were sort of like off on their own doing their own thing. Generally, the things that I hear are when people finally try to have a conversation about, this really hurt me, or here are the things that are happening that, continue to hurt me and are painful, and I want to work on them, or talk to you about that in order to get to a place of healing so that we can repair this relationship. And a lot of times as adults, when those conversations go nowhere because they're completely shut down, or the emotionally immature parent demonstrates just basically an inability or no desire to engage in that repair process,
Yeah.
or to take accountability, or to listen without being emotionally overtaken and dismissing what's being said, that is usually the last straw for people. Another
Yeah, and I was there. You know what worked for me? I just lowered my standards. I said, okay, mom, okay, I can't visit you for too long. I can't call you for too long. What I'll do is I'll text you and I'll give you 5-minute calls every now and then. I didn't tell her that. I didn't say, hey, mom, I'm gonna do that shit now, and you're gonna suffer. No, no, no. Not like you got to treat them with compassion. Some some people are just sick in the head. Not, no, I don't say this from a condescending way. And it's kind of like like you got like me. I hate to say this because I hate when people say this. You only have one parent. I really hate to say that, but it's true. I swear to God, their parents are not gonna. It's not about being completely there. It's not about even having the most minimal contact. I don't agree with complete no contact. It's just it weighs in your heart. Like as last result, at least try to do maybe a text. Like because it's good for you. Like your mind and brain and mental health need it. It has nothing to do with them. Has nothing to do with them.
thing that people talk about is when they have their own children and recognizing the impact that their emotionally immature parents had on them as kids, and then being worried that that would then be contagious and start to impact their own children, and not wanting to continue this intergenerational pattern of maltreatment or emotional immaturity being passed on to somebody else, like their children.
Yeah, no, that's true, man. Yep, that is